So I've been following the IDAHO4 murders case since the night after, I believe, or the night of, when it came on the world news. I've been following it pretty obsessively, actually. There hasn't really been a day since that I haven't watched or read something. And I'm not tech savvy at all. I've wanted to put out videos, but I've got health issues and all kinds of crap anyway. And I don't have the attention span or the physical strength to go through all that. But I can hit the record button on my phone. And I don't care what I look like. So I'm not going to get all dressed or put on makeup or anything like that. I'm going to sit in my reclining chair with my dogs in my lap. Here they are. And I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm way behind on this. The murders happened between 4:08 a.m. and 4:19 a.m. November 13th of 2022. First point, don't argue with me on the time. That's when it happened. Period. And I can't go back and argue or give my opinion or point out stupidity that I've seen all these years, because you just can't. You can't catch up at this point. So I'm going to start now with some of the things I see. And I'm going to preface this with a disgusting fact. It makes me sick, but it needs to be noted. In order to do this, I'm going to have to feed the beast. Continue to feed the beast. There are so few channels that break through the algorithms on social media. From creators who present factual, common sense breakdowns. It's ridiculous. And their subscribers and views are low. It's heartbreaking. But there are hundreds, thousands of channels across all social media platforms who are on board this freaking pro-burger train. Conspiracy train, who want to believe that Moscow PD, Pullman PD, ISP, WSU police, well, they have issues, but campus police from University of Idaho, the FBI, Homeland Security, because they help too. All those entities conspired together. There was not one single person in all of those agencies that said, oh, something's wrong. Somebody's not being truthful here. I'm going to blow the whistle on this. Not one. Out of all of them. They're all crooked. Oh, I forgot the prosecutor's office. And everybody in the court systems. In 2 counties. All them too. The defense team. Crooked. And Taylor, she went to the U of I, so she's crooked too. It's exhausting. Yes, my hand shakes and I'm holding you in my left hand and I'm not moving it right now. Maybe on another video I'll put you in my right hand that doesn't shake. Anyway, I don't care. There are a few creators who get under my skin. And there's one of them in particular that I just want to touch on a little bit today. And she will know who it is if she sees this. You guys will probably know who it is. And the one that gets under my skin the most, I followed from day one on this case. She is an incredibly smart woman. And in the beginning, she questioned things. She used common sense too. But something happened along the way. Two things happened. Two people happened. One of these people is a relative of one of the victims. Some of you all know who I'm talking about here too. I'm not going to trash this poor girl because she's got enough going on. I'm just going to say that when you only hear one side of a story, it's hard to make judgment that is not biased. And a lot of times the one that is screaming the loudest is not always the one who's being, I was going to say truthful, I'm not going to say that. The one that is screaming the loudest is the one that may not always be seeing things clearly. But I don't want to go into that anymore. The point I want to make, because I don't know the story. I've only heard the one side, so I can't pass judgment either. I've spoken with this person quite in depth online and tried to help and tried to understand, and I do. And I because of my family situations, I think I see. I think I know what happened and what is happening. And my heart goes out to her. And my heart goes out to the victim's family also. I gotta stop myself because I keep wanting to go back and add more, but I'm not. Anyway, so this creator found a kinship of some sort with her, and there's, in my opinion, has to be some kind of root to this. I think something went on in this creator's family that may make her a little bit more susceptible to believing this one-sided story. Yeah, babe, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not changing myself while I'm doing this at all. No edits, no nothing. So, okay, so there's that. When she befriended this person, it flipped a switch in her that made her despise one of these victims' families. And She has said some of the most disgusting and harmful things I've ever heard a person say about another person in my life. And the disclaimers and the in my opinions and alleged speculation and all that may save her ass legally for a while. But there's going to be an attorney someday that's going to take the time to sit down and listen to all these videos she puts out. And they're going to get her. And for her kids' sake. I hope she sees the light or whatever you want to call it. And stops this foolishness and apologizes. Not for having an opinion. Not that. But for saying the awful things she said about this family. How would she feel if somebody did that about her? We know a little bit about her family. And I will never stoop to that level. But if you're watching this, honey, we could make all kinds of crazy theories and speculations and say nasty things about the little bit we know about your family. Next thing. Oh gosh, I don't even know when it was now. And before I go into this part, she knows this also, because I've laid this out in comments before to her and on other creators' posts. So there's no secret to this either. And hey, now you can put a full face to the comments. Anyway, alright. So we all know who Pavarotti is, right? J. Hombre? Mr. Everybody in the whole Northwest committed this crime at one point or another. You know, him. Anyway. He came on the scene and very quickly exploded. I watched it. I started watching him right from the beginning. I give all these people a chance because I watch everything, whether I believe what they're saying or not. I want to see everybody's point of view. I want to see if somebody brought up something that I didn't know. Somebody found something in a document or a report that I didn't. Had an interview with somebody that clarified things. So I started watching him. And like I said, very quickly, his channel blew up. Dude's making massive money. Massive amounts of money, okay? Well, this original creator I'm talking to you about, she's been doing this for years, okay? The Idaho murders were nowhere near her first case. Nowhere near. She's been doing this in true crime for a long time. Well, like I said, I didn't agree with everything, but, you know, nobody knew it was happening at the time. Nobody knew. We didn't know anything. There was a gag order on the case. We knew nothing, okay? So we were just grasping at straws, all of us. And some things she said I didn't agree with. Some things I did. You know, we didn't know. So It's been a couple years ago now. All I remember for sure was that it was in the winter. She made a video talking about how there were creators out there who were lying, spreading false information, coming up with crazy conspiracy theories and all this, and they were making all this money. Subscribers, views, likes. But here she was just going over facts, the only facts that we knew, which were hardly any, okay? She wasn't being defamatory to anybody or anything like that, and so she wasn't getting very many views and subscribers and stuff like that. And she was pissed. Because by this time, Pavarotti, he was just berserk, okay? The way he is now, he was off the chain. So, he saw that video. And without saying her name, he pulled out a book he read. I don't know what it was called. I don't even know exactly what the book was about. Something about making money and managing your life or something to that effect. Well, without coming right out and saying it, he circled around really, really close. Without coming out and saying it, he basically told her, hey, you got to do what you got to do, girl. You can be like me. Just do what you gotta do. Well, she saw that video. She made a reply video. Basically saying that she knew it was her that he was talking about. And it didn't take very long for her to do exactly what he told her to do. And now, a couple years later, she has probably tripled her subscribers, her views, her likes. But her content is gross. She's another him. Just in a different way. Worse, really. Because she is smart. Very smart woman. And she's taking care of her family, but she's doing it in the wrong way. She's doing it off the back of these kids. The back of the grief of their families, their friends, the reputation of their family and their friends. So here's the thing. She presents the facts. She reads the documents. They watch the videos. But she knows better than a lot of what she says. And like I said, I have to feed the beast in order to know what's going on with this, and I hate that. But I watched the last video that she did. What the hell's today? Today's July 15th? 14th? She did her last video as of me recording this was, or her last live, was matching up the transcript to Dylan's interview with Gooch. I think it was 4 days after the murders. The title of the video or the point of her video, is about, did Dylan see Xana's lips or legs? That's what it was about. I switched hands, so I'll hold you a little bit more still now. This is my better side anyway, I think. Well, no, we'll get more sunspots. Wear your sunscreen, girls. I'm 53 years old. Refereed field hockey, played field hockey, coached field hockey the majority of my life. And this is what happens if you didn't wear sunscreen. It showed up about, 5-6 years ago. Anyway. So, she questions some things in this video about Dylan again. There was even a little part where she mentions how we don't know a lot about Bethany. People don't really talk a lot about Bethany. But she said, her words, she's just kind of like furniture. It's all Dylan. Bethany, furniture. But Dylan, who was already known and labeled as such to be a scaredy cat, not old enough to realize, if you're scared of bumps in the night, don't watch all these true crime murder shows and stuff. Don't do that to yourself. It just makes things worse. So this young girl, living on her own for the very first time, I gotta stop and go back and give some advice to parents of kids who are going to college. Somehow give them the opportunity to live. Oh, dog choke. Give them the opportunity to live by themselves or with a friend before going to college. Okay? Don't let that be their first experience on their own. It just makes everything more dangerous, okay? It just does. And so much is done between fraternities and sororities when it comes to pranks and scaring each other and stuff like that. This is Moscow, Idaho. They're kids. Only been living on their own for a couple months. She's been teased for being a scaredy cat. She hears a couple bumps. She hears some crying. She hears a man that she doesn't recognize say that they're there to help. Okay? She heard someone say, "I'm here to help." So, even though she may not have known the man who left, in her head that man said, "I'm here to help." And then after that, she didn't hear anything. Okay? So, if something was wrong, a man just helped. He was just here helping. And the EMS, firefighters, and police in Moscow wear black, okay? They all wear black. And that's what this man had. A black outfit. She even said she thought it might have been a firefighter. One of this creator's big points is that she wasn't drunk, that she had drank just a little bit earlier, and that in no way, shape, or form made her intoxicated. That she added a contact to her phone at 3:51 a.m. And she was woken up approximately 4 o'clock to noises. We know now, and she knows now, that that monster did not enter that house until approximately 4:08, give or take. And it didn't come knocking, okay? These kids can text and call and do all kinds of stuff in their sleep. Not literally, but you know what I'm saying. It is common sense to know that she could have entered this contact, closed her eyes, and went back to sleep. And this creator said something about getting into REM sleep and stuff like that. That has nothing to do with this. She's young, not an experienced drinker. I don't care if she had 4 beers 5 hours ago, okay? I know the upbringing of this creator. Maybe she didn't experience this stuff as a girl that age, but most of us did. When I was that age, if I drank a few and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd be fuzzy about everything too. Not because I was passed out, blackout drunk like she keeps trying to say. Like the creator tries to say. Because I do have alcohol in my system and I'm tired, okay? So I can enter a contact in my phone at 3:51 and just close my eyes and not have a clue in this world what's happening 5 minutes later or 3 hours later. No clue, okay? So she enters the contact at 3:51 and he enters quietly at 4:08. She hears some thumps. She calls out. She doesn't see anything. Nobody's answering her. Nobody's saying, Dylan, I need help. Help me, Dylan, help me. She's not hearing help me. None of that. She's not hearing any of that, okay? She's trying. She's trying to see if anybody needs help, but nobody's answering. All right? Then when everything's over, she runs down to Bethany's room. And on her way, she stops for a moment. She looks down the hall to Xana's room. And we know from that god-awful photo that Xana was on the floor and she was already dead. There's also another photo that's taken during the day down the hallway with the door open the twinkle light's on in her room. Maybe. You can't quite tell. But it's dark in there. Dark enough that with the clothes all around her and her laying on the floor in a gray sweatshirt that we know now is splattered, that she's not clearly laying there. She's also laying on a black rug. So her fluids are being soaked into the rug. So as she goes by, she looks down there and she can tell from the silhouette which end is which and which way she's facing and everything. But that photo was taken during the day. This happened at 4 o'clock in the morning. So it would have been pitch black outside. So the twinkle lights that she had on in her room, if she did, because we don't know that yet, would have been the only light source other than the light coming from the good vibes that she would have been able to see down the hall. And if the light from the bathroom was on, it would have made it even harder for her to see that, because of the way the shadows would have been created from the light. And we don't know if that light was on. We don't think it was on, because it didn't look to be on when Noons and what's his face showed up. She knows this stuff, okay? This creator knows this stuff. But this video is getting long, so I'm gonna cut it short, because I could talk forever. And I actually would need to write notes. And I think I might try to start doing that so I can touch on different points. But this is my first video, so just give you kind of a taste. She can't understand how she texted Bethany that she was scared. But yet she tells Gooch and them that she was scared, but not scared, like nothing was wrong. And she can't understand that, and she says she's lying because she can't understand that. This creator has seen all of the experts in this field say it is 100% understandable that these two girls reacted the way they did. But she still gets on her channel and tells her viewers over and over and over, every video, every live, whatever, that there's no way this happened, that she lied. She knows better than all the experts. And these people believe her. And she knows that. And that's why I'm doing this video. I'll say it for the third time, this girl's smart. She's got common sense. She knows what she's doing. You know what you're doing. And unlike a lot of these other creators, you know, you're not showing us all the new equipment that you're getting, or how you're redoing your house, or anything like that. I mean, you changed your room around a couple times, but nothing major. But you're getting some fat checks. And the more of this bullshit you spread, the bigger the checks are getting. There's a lot of time coming up, okay? We got a lot more information to find out. There's a lot more money to be made. And I know how you feel about religion. And I have my own views on religion too, so I'm not going to, do all this. God will get you someday or anything like that. But I'm going to say this. God forbid anything ever happens in your family to someone you love, and someone comes for you like you've come for these families, these friends, and the other victims of this monster. I'm probably going to support that channel. I'll subscribe to them. Just because I'm like that. I'm not wishing harm on anybody. But it makes me sick watching what you're doing. Knowing damn well you know better. I don't know what else to say right now. I'm mad. This whole thing is just disgusting. Y'all want to say that this Idaho 4 is now Idaho 5 because of that monster is whatever kind of disgusting crap you want to say. Call it what you wish. These kids were slaughtered by that monster. He did it. There was overwhelming circumstantial evidence. Overwhelming. He had every piece of it. The defense had every piece of it. He knew it. He knew he was screwed. He didn't want to put mother through seeing what he did to those kids. The only person he cared about, even a little bit, in this world was mother and maybe father. And they've never once said he didn't do it. We have reports that his dad said it to some woman in the grocery store, but they've never come out and publicly defended their son. Said that he couldn't have done this. The only thing they've said even close is that they're having trouble believing that he could have. He pled guilty so that the state of Idaho did not show the only people he cared about in this world that he did in fact do this. This is all my opinion. Gotta put my little disclaimer in there. But you know who you are. And you know I'm right. I don't think you're gonna change. 'Cause that check's fat. But you better get a little bit of religion. Go back on your upbringing just a little. Pray nothing ever happens to your family. Because karma is a bitch. You're popular enough now that it's going to be news. Imagine if a horrible tragedy like this ended up being national news, with YouTube creators ripping you and your family apart for a paycheck. Until next time, I'm going to take notes next time. Hit on a couple points. Oop, oop, there's my cat. Anyway, have a good day, y'all. Be safe. And that motherfucker did it. Alright? I don't give a fuck what y'all say. He did it. He's gonna rot in jail for it. Peace.